Hello, good day, and welcome to Conversations in Literature. Just like what I said in my first video, here we are going to talk about literary works, specifically designed for my HTU classes, second year English majors. So we are going to discuss literature coming from Afro Asian, Anglo American, the world. We are going to discuss partly also mythology and folklore. We are going to have literary criticisms and so children's literature. Yes, do not forget that. Now, for today, we are going to talk about one of the most important set of literary works ever published in a civilization, and that would be no, coming from Chinese literature. Uh, because you will be teachers of literature in the future, do not forget when you teach literature, never miss out on this set of classics, which we call the five classics in China and the four books. Later on, we're going to have the four books. Now, let's start with the five classics. The five classics would be the core canon that would make up the Confucian ideology. This was established during the Han Dynasty, and it is made up of five important books, starting with I Ching, or the Book of Changes. This is supposed to be a book of divination. So this is where you get your feng shui. If you're going to look at the cover of the book, you can see the markings that you can find in what they call the bagua, no? In Chinese geomancy. Okay, there. Next would be the Book of History, or the Book of Documents. So it's an early collection of essays, of speeches written by rulers during the Shao Dynasty, and it includes early Chinese prose. So that is the Book of Documents. Up next would be the Shiqing, or the Book of Odes, or the Book of Poetry. Okay. The Book of Poetry is a collection of 305 poems divided into 160 folk songs, 105 festal songs sung at court ceremonies, and you have eulogies, which honors sacrifices to heroes and ancestral spirits at the royal house. So that's the Book of Odes. The fourth one would be the Book of Rites, or Lichi. So here, it describes ancient rites, social forms, court ceremonies, like for example, weddings. What are the order of weddings in China? What would be the etiquette, social etiquettes? Okay. So the Book of Rites. And the last one would be the Spring and Autumn Annals. So it's a historical record of the state of Lu, and that is the native state of Confucius. After you have the five classics, the next one would be the four books, or the Sishu. The four books, starting with the Doctrine of the Mean. So it's another chapter in the Book of Rites attributed to Confucius' grandson Cixi. Okay. So this talks about heaven, how important is heaven, and the different steps that a holy ruler would use, because the most important aspect in Confucian ideology would be the heaven. That is why in China you have the what we call the mandate of heaven. The next one would be the great learning. So the first chapter in the Book of Rites, okay, it talks about the different themes in Chinese philosophy, political thinking, how to rule, government, self cultivation, and investigation of things that are linked within. So that is the great learning. Then you have the teachings of Mencius. Please take note, we have three um, important great philosophers of China. You have Confucius, you have Lao Tzu, and this third one would be Mencius, another student of Confucius. And the last of the four books would be the Analects of Confucius, which compiles the different speeches of Confucius and his disciples and would talk about the different philosophies and moral values of China. And this one is what we're going to discuss later in my next video. So, if you want to know more about Confucius, you have this link on YouTube and also on another, no, Lao Tzu. Please get this link. So, if you have any questions, please reserve first your questions, and after the next video when we discuss, I still have works, something for you to do. Then after that, we're going to discuss the Analects, a little incident, and the poems of Lipo. So with that, bye.